Oh, very exciting, James. And these things don't happen overnight. 25 years in the making, but to stand here and see the 150th open up and have people coming through it, it's a great achievement. And a lot of thanks goes to the whole family at Quest, the franchisees, the developers also that work with us. It's a fantastic position to be in.
Big news for you, you've got 5 more committed projects under construction due for completion end of June next year. Tell us about those projects.
Well, one of the things we've been working on probably over the last 2 or 3 years is in Queensland. There's been a lot of good things happening in Queensland, and not just from the mining and resources, but there's been an overall investment in infrastructure, and we've seen that from in Mackay's, Townsville, where there's been major road investments, major port investments. And businesses are actually doing reasonably okay. So what we were looking at is going into locations where they lack good quality accommodation and probably haven't seen new accommodation for a while. So we looked at Rockhampton, which will be opening up probably in the next few months. So from Rocky we then look at Mackay, which will be opening up as well, which will be our second property in Mackay. Mackay is actually going quite strong. I know there's been some commentary in the marketplace at present saying Mackay slowing down. I think what we're seeing is more so that the less quality properties probably aren't doing as good as they were when they had the overflow of demand. But demand is still quite strong for quality accommodation. We're opening up our second property in Townsville as well. Again, a very strong market in Townsville. Also moving out to Woolloongabba in Brisbane. And again, just trying to expand in the Brisbane area. And up at Mount Gravatt, another great location where business has been moving to. I think what we're following is the trend where our corporate businesses are going, and I think the important thing is to, as you follow your corporates, you're going into locations where they're doing business. So and that's our base driver.
Interesting at the moment how the business travel market's going. Are you seeing a lot of demand for Southeast Queensland? I mean, we've got another 4 or 5 hotel projects have been announced up the street in the Valley and in the CBD. What kind of demand are you seeing still?
Oh, we're still seeing strong demand. These businesses are growing here. There's new corporates coming into town. I think the difficulty we've got in the marketplace today, there's a lot of commentary from economists and people writing about the mining bubble and residential bubble. And I think what we've lost is that we're coming out of an environment whereby we've been in excesses of demand, where demand's been well over the top. And where we're coming to now is now reality, but business is still growing. And I think we're fortunate at Quest. We've been, the business has been going for 25 years. So we've seen many cycles, many ups and many downs. And what we're seeing at the moment is business as usual. And I think it's important that you stay focused on your core business and making decisions on real demand, as opposed to, well, look, the mines are pushing out more dirt tomorrow. That's not going to drive it all the time.
What kind of industries are you seeing a lot of business from at the moment? It's not just mining, you're getting a lot of general, just business, travel business, aren't you?
There's travel business, the businesses that are servicing the whole mining industry, probably more the resources industry, like Gladstone's all about LNG, and we've got the Mackay business, which is still mining related, but there's other industries with a big growth in agribusiness. In Rockhampton, the meat industry up there is huge, and these industries are continuing to grow because if we take some of the good parts of some of the commentary, is that Australia is going to be a major provider of food across Asia. So there's a lot of investment going into agriculture, a lot of research going into agriculture, how we can grow better crops, how we can produce more output, tonnage, whatever they call it. And they're important things to know. So as you support those industries, then you've got the small industry, the SME market that's out there continually doing business. And so people haven't slowed down. I think what we sometimes tend to look for is the big win. There's no big win, it's business as normal. And especially in Queensland, where there hasn't been a lot of new development, especially in the regional areas. And we're coming into areas that we're just putting new stock into the marketplace. It gets absorbed quickly because we're not competing with anything. And I think that's probably one of our advantage points that we have, is that we're able to get into these marketplaces quite quick and be up and open and meet that market.
And business travellers really do want all the amenities that you have. What's your kind of average stay at the moment across the company?
Well, depending on where the projects are, but typically we would say we're between a 4 to a 7 day stay. And generally that's the typical corporate stay. And sure, we'll have the project teams that will come in for 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months. So there's companies that do that as well. But overall, we're finding corporate staying that little bit longer because they're probably not travelling as often. So they might not be flying into Mackay every second week, but they'll be there once a month and staying longer to get the job done. and I think it's more servicing that market. It's what we say, the extended stay traveller needs are different to an overnighter. An overnighter, you always stay in a hotel. You need all those extra services, the people look after you, because you haven't got time. When you're there for a week, you want to look after yourself. And because a lot of your work's done at night, you're generally in your room, you're plugging your computer in, you're downloading all your information because you want to try and get your job done pretty quickly so you can get back home.
And just finally, forecast for the rest of the financial year?
Very strong. We're seeing, we'll finish up about on par from last year. But what we're seeing is our room rates improved. And I think one of the things that we wanted to focus on in 2013 was of stability in occupancy, but focusing on room rate. Because one of the things that we as an industry, we don't focus on is trying to get a better price for our rooms. I think we're all about trying to fill the room. We can always fill a room, but if you're not achieving a good yield, then the question is that how long can you sustain that for? So we're seeing that probably will be up about 4 or 5% in terms of growth, but with very good increase in room rate. And I think that's the benchmark in terms of getting new projects up. If you're not focusing on your room rate, well, it's very hard to achieve or sustain that development in the future.